All right, we're going to talk about something that might be hiding in your pantry right now in plain sight. We're going to look at these so-called health foods that might be secretly wrecking your wellness goals, and you probably don't even know it. I mean, it's a super frustrating thought, isn't it? You're trying to do all the right things, you fill your shopping cart with foods that are screaming wellness from the box, but what if those very foods you trust are actually the problem? So let's pull back the curtain. We're going to expose the slick marketing tricks and the hidden ingredients that turn these seemingly healthy foods into, well, unhealthy imposters. Okay, let's just dive right in by looking at some super familiar items, things you might literally have in your grocery cart right now. These are the usual suspects, hiding out where you'd least expect them. First on the list, flavored yogurt. Yeah, they sell you on the promise of gut-healthy probiotics. But have you actually checked the label? A lot of these are so packed with added sugar, they're basically a dessert, not a health food. Next up, granola bars. They seem like the perfect snack, right? Full of oats and good stuff, but look closer. They're often glued together with things like high fructose corn syrup and dipped in chocolate. It's really just a candy bar wearing a health halo. Oh, and veggie chips. The name sounds so good for you, but the reality? Most of them are just potato chips, fried in the same old unhealthy oils, but with a little sprinkle of vegetable powder thrown in for color. The nutritional benefit here is pretty much zero. And finally, those breakfast cereals that brag about being fortified with vitamins. Sure, they might have some vitamins sprayed on, but the main ingredient is usually a highly refined grain, with all the fiber stripped out. This just leads to a massive blood sugar spike and then that inevitable mid-morning energy crash. Sound familiar? So you're probably wondering, what's the common thread here? What do all these imposter foods really have in common? Well, it usually boils down to three main culprits, and food manufacturers are experts at hiding them. First, these hidden sugars. Food scientists have practically made an art form out of disguising sugar under dozens of different names. It's a classic trick, especially to make low-fat products taste good. Once you start looking for these names, you'll see them everywhere. Villain number 2, refined carbohydrates. Okay, so imagine taking a whole grain, like a piece of wheat, and basically stripping it for parts. You take off the outer layers, the bran, and the germ, which removes almost all the fiber and nutrients. What you're left with is just a simple starch that your body burns through as fast as pure sugar. And our third villain, industrial seed oils. These are the cheap, highly processed oils. Think of it like this. Your body needs a balance of different fats, but these oils are just loaded with omega-6 fatty acids. And when you get too much, it's like an alarm bell that's constantly signaling for inflammation all over your body. So we've met the villains. What actually happens when all this sugar, refined carbs, and seed oil gets into your system? Let's take a look at the science. It kicks off this really nasty cycle. You eat these foods and bam, your blood sugar shoots through the roof. Your pancreas then has to pump out a ton of insulin to deal with it. But when there's way too much sugar for your body to use, insulin's main job becomes storing all that excess as fat. And here's the crucial part. This is not just about calories. It's about the powerful hormonal signal these foods send. When you keep repeating that cycle over and over, it can lead to weight gain, sure, but also to chronic inflammation and a whole host of digestive problems. I mean, when you look at it side by side like this, the difference is just stark. A diet full of processed foods can literally slow your metabolism and ramp up inflammation. A diet of whole foods does the exact opposite. Over the long term, the impact is absolutely huge. Okay, but here's the good news. You can totally take back control. The key is to stop just being a consumer and to start being a food detective every single time you walk into that grocery store. So let's talk about the most common traps to avoid. Honestly, the biggest mistake is just believing the claims on the front of the box. Words like natural or low fat or gluten-free, they're mostly just marketing buzzwords designed to make you feel good and stop you from looking at the ingredients list. So here's your toolkit. This is how you fight back. Your real power is on the back of the package, in that tiny ingredients list. Make it your number one rule. Always read it. If the first few ingredients are some form of sugar, refined flour, or weird oils, just put it back. A great rule of thumb is, if you can't pronounce it, you should probably question eating it. And at the end of the day, the solution is surprisingly simple. Real food doesn't need a flashy label to convince you it's healthy. The most nourishing things you can eat are often the ones that have no label at all. Seriously, just think about that for a second. An apple doesn't have an ingredients list. A steak doesn't. A head of broccoli doesn't. So the next time you're shopping, just ask yourself that question. It might just change the way you look at everything.